The lore of Ragnarok, how the Norse gods were destined to die. The sky is on fire, the sun has vanished into the jaws of a wolf, the moon is gone, the stars fall like sparks from a dying forge. Across the trembling branches of Yggdrasil, the world tree, every root and every realm begins to shake. And in Asgard, the gods do not ask if the end has come. They already know. Heimdall raises Gjallarhorn, the horn whose sound reaches through all worlds. Odin, one-eyed king of the Norse gods, takes up his spear. Thor grips his hammer. Loki breaks his chains. Fenrir opens his mouth wide enough to swallow the sky. This is Ragnarok. But what if the most terrifying part of Ragnarok was not that the gods died? What if the gods knew they were destined to die all along? In Norse mythology, Ragnarok is not simply the end of the world, but the doom of the divine powers, the final unraveling of oaths, bloodlines, and choices made long before the first sword was raised. The poetic and prose Eddas do not present the gods as immortal beings standing safely above fate. They show something darker. Odin searches for wisdom because he fears what it reveals. Thor fights because that is all a protector can do. Loki betrays the world that once accepted him. Over all of them hangs a prophecy. Aesir speaks, Odin listens, and the future is not mercy. Before the fire, there was order. Asgard stood bright among the realms, home of the Aesir, the gods who ruled, feasted, judged, and fought. Below them lay Midgard, the world of humans, encircled by Jormungandr, the world's serpent, whose body spanned the ocean floor. In the shadows grew Fenrir, the great wolf, child of Loki, while in the underworld waited Hel, another of Loki's children, ruling over those who did not fall in battle. The gods saw the danger in Loki's offspring, casting the serpent into the ocean and sending Hel to the underworld. But Fenrir remained among them, growing larger and more feared each day. Terrified of what he would become, the gods tried to bind him. At first, iron chains failed. Fenrir shattered them easily. Finally, the gods brought a strange ribbon, soft and thin, forged from impossible things, a cat's footfall, a woman's beard, mountain roots, and a fish's breath. Fenrir suspected a trick, agreeing to be bound only if a god placed a hand in his mouth as a pledge of trust. The gods fell silent. Tyr stepped forward. When Fenrir found he could not break the binding, he bit down. Tyr lost his hand. The gods had chained the wolf, but they had not defeated fate. Far from Asgard, another wound opened. Baldr, beloved son of Odin and Frigg, dreamed of his own death. His mother extracted oaths from almost everything in creation to never harm him. Fire, iron, stone, sickness, beasts, and serpents. But one thing was overlooked: mistletoe. The gods made a game of Baldr's invulnerability, throwing weapons at him harmlessly. But Loki discovered the secret. Guiding the blind god Hodr, he placed mistletoe in his hand. Hodr threw it, and Baldr fell. The brightest god was dead, the first devastating crack in the walls of the world. The gods begged Hel for Baldr's return. She agreed, but only if every living thing wept for him. The worlds mourned, yet one giantess refused. Some say it was Loki in disguise. Baldr remained among the dead, and the old order was no longer just wounded, it was bleeding. Loki's place among the gods became impossible. In Lokasenna, He crashed their feast, pouring venomous words to expose their shame. No longer just a bringer of chaos, he became a rupture. The furious gods bound him with his son's entrails beneath a serpent dripping venom. His wife, Sigyn, caught the poison in a bowl, but whenever she turned to empty it, the venom struck Loki's face. He writhed in agony, shaking the earth. Yet, his punishment was not the end, for Ragnarok begins when bonds break. First comes Fimbulwinter, the great winter. Snow falls from every direction, no warmth remains, and no summer comes between. Brother turns against brother, kinship rots, oaths are forgotten. The moral world collapses before the physical one burns. Then the wolves catch the sun and moon. The stars disappear. Yggdrasil trembles. The sea rises as Jormungandr thrashes beneath the waves, twisting the waters into poison and storm. Fenrir breaks free. Loki slips his bonds. From the east comes a ship made from the nails of the dead. From Muspelheim rides Surtur, the fire giant, carrying a flaming sword brighter than the sun. The gods know the signs. They have always known. Heimdall sounds Gjallarhorn, and Odin rides to Mimir's well, seeking counsel once last time. The wisest of the gods seeks wisdom even when it cannot save him, then turns toward the battlefield. This final war is fought not to escape death, but because they cannot. Odin, Lord of Valhalla, marches against Fenrir, whose jaws stretch from earth to heaven. The king of the gods steps forward and is swallowed whole. For a moment, the world holds its breath. Then Vidar, Odin's silent son, steps into the wolf's jaws, tearing the beast apart to avenge his father. But vengeance is not rescue. Odin is gone. Thor faces Jormungandr. Thunder faces poison. Hammer faces serpent. The defender of Midgard strikes with all the fury of storm and iron, shattering the beast's skull with Mjolnir. Thor has won. But the serpent's venom rises around him. He takes 9 steps. Only 9. Then the strongest of the gods falls dead upon the ruined earth. Tyr, already marked with sacrifice, faces Garm, the hound of the underworld. They kill each other. Freyr battles Surtur, but without the sword he once gave away, he falls before the fire. Heimdall and Loki, watchman and destroyer, meet at the edge of the end. They kill each other too. Every old debt is paid. Every prophecy closes. Then Surtur lifts his flame. The fire spreads over the worlds. Asgard burns. Midgard burns. The halls of the gods collapse into ash. The sea swallows the land. The age of Odin, Thor, Loki, and the old powers passes into smoke. But Ragnarok is not only destruction. The earth rises green and renewed from the sea, and a few gods remain: Vidar, Vali, Modi, and Magni. From hell come Baldr and Hodr, the murdered god and the blind brother, sitting together as if the oldest wound of Asgard has finally closed. 2 humans, Leif and Leif-Throsir, survive within the shelter of the World Tree to begin humanity anew. The old world dies, but not everything is lost. That is the haunting power of Ragnarok. It is not a tale where the gods defeat death. They do not escape the prophecy. They do not conquer fate. Even Odin, with all his wisdom, cannot outthink the end. Even Thor, with all his strength, cannot strike hard enough to survive his final victory. And yet, they ride out. They face the wolf, the serpent, the fire, and the dark. Perhaps that is why Ragnarok endured in Viking mythology and in the medieval poems that preserved its shadow. It does not promise that power will last forever, nor that wisdom will save us from loss. It says that even gods must die, and the measure of their greatness is not whether they can stop the end. It is whether they can meet it without turning away.